Good morning, Chief Sydenham. From Weaver John C. of History 116 at Antelope Valley College. Yeah, way too early in the morning for this, Professor. 7:18 in the morning, West Coast time, on the Wednesday of the 5th of November, 2025. Shall we talk Saddam Hussein? Or as I called him, insane, because he was insane. When did the CIA set up? Setting up to have U.S. influence over the Middle East Gulf, dealing with that kind of stuff. I mean, this guy was on that job, wasn't he? Thought he was. So, I'm just going over the emails and stuff right now, what's happening in our class concerning about discussion aids, sir. Sorry if you happen to hear the dingings left and right on it. A couple of the students actually did get it right. But the one thing I can never understand, Professor, how the some hell did the Cold War ever get involved with the Middle East situation? I mean, it was bad enough when we had the Soviet premiers trying to do a quick run on Afghanistan and turned out to be their Vietnam when we already had our Vietnam for comparisons at this point. Yeah, I remember that was a 3 or 4 year war on that one, and they were losing badly equipment, rubles. Became a costly mistake. They backed out. Only because we had Western influence trying to save their ass, but we didn't do a good enough job. That's how we got the Taliban. That's how we got our asses kicked down the road. History has a way of biting us in the ass one way or another. But I don't get the idea of how the hell did the communism and Soviet influence was with Saddam Hussein in the first place when he was, if he actually was. I mean, I heard rumors and different stories from different professors that Saddam, or should I call him Saddam Hussein, or Saddam. Okay, Saddam Hussein. Let me just stick with Saddam Hussein. That's better for me. Okay, so with the lunatic here, how the hell does communism link up with this lunatic? It just doesn't make sense. Now, if we're talking about the Central America and the Caribbean, that's a different thing altogether. From what research I was going through, not just through Donaldson's book, a few other sources just confirming backing things up. Maybe I should be doing a report on that one. Isle of Grenada, they wanted their own communist country. I think they read so much about communist history, probably from Cuba, that they wanted their own Marxist Leninist country, split the island and wanted to take it over and make it communist. Now, actually, we had the Caribbean nations, the Organization for American States, and the U.S. get involved and kicking ass. About 3 years on that one. Oh, 3 days on that one. But I tell you what the other screw up was, and this one was just a minor one, bypassing everybody. Remember Manuel Noriega? Strongman Manuel Noriega. He would have fit it right well with the Trumpian shit. Oh, with the drugs and stuff and everything else. We committed, according to what I was researching, about over 11,000 or more. Hell, why would you, we couldn't just do an invasion force on it? No, but we did our due diligence and had soldiers killed and wounded in the process. There was an airport there were two forces that didn't communicate with effectively with each other, and the military intelligence didn't keep track of both of them. And they tried to zap each other out. My brother was part of that operation. He got shot in the ass. From what research was happening, we had SEAL teams 1 through 6 over there, different various units being utilized. And the SEAL teams were going head to head with the 82nd. Oh, my brother still hate my. Every time he kept seeing airborne, didn't matter if it was 101st or 82nd, he was like, "Oh, you sorry sons of bitches, you shot me in the ass." He looked at everyone who spouted off with the patch or the cap. I'm like, "You guys shot me in the ass." I don't even know you. I don't care. You guys shot me in the ass over there anyway. And then he had to tell him about the story in Panama about him getting shot in the ass on the airport because the military intelligence said that was screwed up left and right. It was really called Charlie Foxtrot at that point. But I can't get what Donaldson was talking about, the communist Cold War attitude. Now, if we are talking about the Vietnam syndrome, about committing ourselves massively, like we tried to do the other wars and have this thing failed miserably, every time there was like a police action going on. But it was just not hunting communists, though. We weren't told that in the press. We weren't told about it in the papers, and we sure as hell weren't told about it in the corporate media. We didn't have the internet during that time. You understand that? Back in the 80s and 90s, we didn't have it. We're just developing those computer skills and technology for the internet during those days. So maybe it was on the bulletin boards that I didn't even read. But I'm quite sure that we didn't have communist scare going on. We didn't care about the communists. As far as we knew, their country was falling apart. We were hearing about it. So we didn't worry about the Cold War. It wasn't talked about. I didn't hear the conversations, and I didn't even remember what the conversations were when it came down for the morning shows. Especially during the summertime when I was in between things. Well, let's see, we're talking about the late 80s and early 90s. I was already graduated out of high school out of 85. So, from 85 to 87 to nearly 88, I was college. But also working. And even working, we would have talked stuff like that. But we weren't keeping track of it. I get back home to listen to the evening news if I had a morning shift somewhere. Or read the paper to see what the hell was going on. I just didn't bother concerning about the crap going on. 83, yeah, I was in high school. I would have heard about that on the news all the time. I would have read about that in the paper. We had the LA Times and our daily news. We had two papers. One would give one perspective, and the other one would give the other perspective. At least I'd have cross-referencing at that point. I don't recall it. I mean, I recall Battle of Grenada, and we talk about it on the news. That's about it. And about Manuel Noriega. Not to mention we had Iran-Contra affairs going on, and Ollie North getting his ass grilled. I remember that one. But communism? So, I think some of these students have it. I think they had it. A little bit, but not much. So, now I have to reply to what was going on. At least somebody's awake this morning. Anyway, I thought I'd get this thing off my chest. Maybe we should have been more worried about the communist scare because now we got Putin doing the whole damn crap on us. He's really trying for an Afghanistan situation, you know? How much rubles did he actually spend, or actually his country spent, trying to conquer Afghanistan to get larger territory? What the hell was so damn important about Afghanistan? Except a rear base? Professor, if I'm going to be going to check Google Maps on this one, maybe I should have also done further research. What resources did Afghanistan have? Natural resources, huh? What do we got? Coal, copper, natural gas, petroleum, gold, lithium, uranium, gold, rare earths, heliums, arable land. I'm checking through a World Atlas right now to give me some information about it. I'm going to get a PDF so I have it for my own records. But that in alone would have been resource war in that place, not just for territory. Coal, copper, natural gas, petroleum. Resources necessary for an industry hurting for it. Gold would have been for processing and not to mention for financial to build up their own uh, depleted money stores. Uranium? Do we have to talk about how radioactive that is? Rare earth elements. Necessary for manufacturing and industrial. So if we were talking about dealing with Afghanistan in its geologic gifts, so to speak, that I could deal with. Copper. Copper is needed. Copper we use in a lot of things. We got copper thefts like crazy out here in Southern California. You realize that? Worth a lot of money. Then other minerals. Agriculture. Maybe there's, well, let's see. Range driver. Opium. Not just edibles. Opium. I remember they kept talking about that one. They kept talking about how much opium they were getting from the drug dealers and getting processed, refined in different places, but they would be getting the opium out of the country. But I never remembered, never recalled, came over with any kind of news stories about DEAs going in Afghanistan. But if they did, I didn't see it. I was seeing Central America because that's what the news usually focused on. But if they were doing that, that's what I thought. Okay, so political's got something about it. ABC News, back to 2016. Okay, so we did have DEA operations happening out there. Opium war with the Taliban. We've got many articles online regarding this one. I am corrected. But nothing had to do with communism. Narco terrorists. I guess save that and bookmark that one there. But, I had to get these things off my chest, Professor. My apologies. When these here millenniums, we're going to be talking. And then you're going to be screaming in your head like, oh no, not him again. He's live. Have a good one, Professor.